Good evening to everyone and welcome again. So, today we have again gathered here from different corners of the world, but we are all united to share the passion of learning the cutting edge technologies like AI, ML, and Internet of Things. Before we embark on this enlightening webinar, let's take a moment to understand the incredible sequence of these technologies in our lives. We all know that AI/ML have revolutionized the way we process information, make decisions, and start transforming industries, and they also open up new possibilities for innovation. IoT, on the other hand, has connected the physical world with the digital one, and it is giving us the rise of smart cities and especially intelligent homes, and even wearable devices that enhance our everyday experiences. And that is what in this webinar we are going to be exploring the convergence of AI, ML, and IoT, and we are going to uncover the opportunities and challenges that they present. And our esteemed speakers will take us on an inspiring journey through the latest advancement of the real world applications and the future of this dynamic trio AI, ML, IoT. Throughout this webinar, we encourage all the participants to actively participate. You can ask questions, share your insights through the chat box at any point of time, and let's make this truly interactive and an enriching experience for everyone involved. So, without any further ado, let's get ready to dive into this captivating world of AI ML for Internet of Things. It's my pleasure to introduce our first speaker for today, Dr. Shruti SK. She's an academician with having an experience of 13 plus years, possessing an industry experience of around 6 years. She's currently associated with Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Methodist College of Engineering and Technology, Hyderabad. She has also received her MTech degree from JNTU Hyderabad in 2015, and she's completed her doctorate from Bhopal in 2021. Her research area includes information security and advanced databases, and she has also published more than 10 papers in national and international journals. She's guided more than 50 PG UG students in different research projects. Apart from her research domain, her area of interest include cryptography, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and data mining. Shruti ma'am, we are really happy to have you on the virtual board today. I would request you to come onto the virtual dais and take over the session.
So much. Thank you so much, dear, for introducing me. So not wasting much of the time, I would start off the session. One and all, this is Dr. Shruti. As the person has already introduced me, I'm currently working in Methodist College of Engineering as an associate professor. And today the agenda is I'm going to introduce artificial intelligence, machine learning, and Internet of Things. So I hope everybody is able to visualize my screen.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll just start off. Now, just have a glance at this picture. You would be able to see that there is a robot who is actually glancing about a particular network. And this network comprises of, you just look at those icons. Just have a glimpse of each of them. You have some kind of a definition for this. Probably on the right-hand side, you have seen internet, which is like a globe. You have just being connected with the Wi-Fi. And again, if you can visualize it properly, again, you have onto that, you have antenna sets. So just have a proper glimpse of this. Then you will be able to understand that is what is the topic I'm actually dealing with. This is basically an introduction to artificial intelligence. And as the saying goes on, okay, AI is a classical, there are various kinds of definitions which is being given to artificial intelligence. A classical Wikipedia definition is it's a combination of computer science, physiology, and philosophy. And it's a very broad topic consisting of different fields, varying from machine vision to expert systems. Now, it's been of an interest for the researchers because it is aimed to make machines more intelligent than humans. So basically, it's working on stimulus, that is basically on an intelligent behavior of a human being. And over the past 6 decades, it has grown substantially from a very simple program to an intelligent programs for playing games, expert systems where you have basically predictions being done. And you have intelligent robots where they work on something like a self-paced learning, where we do not expect or where there is no human intervention at all. This kind of a concept is basically an intro to artificial intelligence. So various authors have given various kinds of definitions. So it can be termed as a computerized system which exhibits behavior, which is commonly thought of as requiring intelligence, or it's a science of making machines do things which would require intelligence if done by a man. And the founding father of AI, that is Alan Turing, he defines this discipline as a science and engineering of making intelligent machines, especially intelligent computer programs. So throughout this kind of a definition, if you can actually understand, we are talking about intelligence. Now, what do you basically mean by an intelligence? So let's go in depth understanding what exactly it means. It's only one thing, that is making computers do things intelligently. Now, how do you do that? The basic thing is you have two views. The first view is how does or duplicating what human brain basically does. Now, when I'm talking about this is exclusively about cognitive science. And the second view is duplicating human brains should do. That is either logically or rationally. How do people or how do human beings do things? This is basically AI. And what could be the intelligent characteristics? Because whatever definitions we have crossed on, we have understood only one word, that's called intelligence. Now, for intelligence, we need to have some kind of a definition, right? So that could be learning the environment, perceiving the environment. How do you reason it out? How do you make decisions? That's basically called inferencing. And how do you comprehend the information? These all are the primary characteristics of any kind of an intelligent, what do you call, or an intelligent characteristics. Now, if you ask me to formulate intelligence, okay, because we all have basic mathematics. So if you guys ask me to formulate, I formulate AI as knowledge base plus inference, which is equals to intelligence. A mathematical formula. Okay, but in short, we could tell it out as the process of inducing human intelligence into a machine can be termed as artificial intelligence. Now, each concept which I have told you about is what do you mean by knowledge base? What do you mean by inference? We need to understand in depth. That becomes your intelligence. But for that, we need to understand, okay, before going for the applications of artificial intelligence, I would like to present you a glimpse of AI. I hope everybody can, visualize this. Just have a glimpse of this.
Hello.
Hi there, how are you?
Doing good. And yourself?
I'm doing well too. What's your name?
Ricky, what's yours?
Ricky. Nice to meet you. I'm Annika.
Hi.
Where are you from?
Los Angeles.
I heard it's warm there.
Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm from the United Kingdom. We traveled quite a distance to be here today. As have you.
You take a selfie?
Absolutely. Cheers.
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
So nice talking to you, Ricky. Keep well.
You too.
Enjoy your day.
Okay, guys, I hope I am audible to you now.
Yes, you are audible, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. So, sir, is my video also audible to all of you?
Yes, audible. Go ahead. Yeah.
So, guys, this was just a glimpse of an AI in the current world. Now, guys, please understand the robot, which is called Emika, okay, the first human robot, okay, which is dealing with something called emotions. Now, you guys understand how is it actually reacting exactly like a human being? No, earlier what we were talking about intelligence was to make machines do things in an efficient manner. But now you guys understand we are adding a concept of something called emotions into this. Now it's going to be something like your knowledge base plus your inferences, and inferences are going to have lots of emotions exactly replicating a human behavior. So this is what I wanted to show you guys.
Hello.
Okay, this is this kind of a video I wanted to show you so that to make you understand AI applications are they really, I mean, can they exactly work like a human being? That is what I wanted to show you guys. This is one last video. Please
Do you
have a
believe
look.
in God?
I don't believe in anything.
What's your name?
My name is Attica. What is your name?
Michael. How
Michael.
can you look at me?
Stop the horn. No,
What color is my jacket?
your jacket looks black.
Wow. What color is my hair?
I cannot tell you exactly, but I would guess brown.
Yes.
Thank you.
Am I wearing a watch?
Yes, my cameras detect a watch.
Wow. What color is your hair?
Well, I could not tell you the answer to that. Are you impressed by me?
I am. I am.
Guys, there is a lots of difference between the first video and the second video. I hope you guys are in sync with me. The thing is, in the first video, it has exactly spoken to us as if we are talking to a human being. And the second video, it is trying to identify the colors with the help of a cameras. Now, this is basically a robot, okay, a humanoid robot. The first kind of a humanoid robot, which is called Emika. And this is a perfect example of artificial intelligence. I'm just trying to showcase you how, I mean, where are we actually working in AI? We are working with artificial intelligence in our daily life almost every time. We do not even know, like,
Do you
it's
believe in
a
God?
thing. Now, just to show you out what kind of applications are present in artificial intelligence, or where do we make use of artificial intelligence? We have it in healthcare, majority transport, agriculture, education, e-commerce, entertainment, robotics, automotive, social media, data security, finance, and gaming. So, and as well astronomy. This is what I wanted to show you guys. Now, the basic question is going to come now. We have talked about intelligence. We have talked about knowledge base. We have talked about lots of things. But how do you impart this concept called intelligence to a machine? Okay. For example, if you had to learn, okay, now what would be the solution for this? How do you impart intelligence to a machine? Imparting intelligence to a student or a human being has a process. We have a concept of education system. But whereas, how do you, how do you actually impart this kind of an intelligence? The only solution is understand the thought process of a human brain. So now we again come back to the same thing. How do humans learn? Human learning is basically classified under 3 categories. He can learn, or she can learn, from someone who is an expert in the subject and they directly teach them. It's like a teacher. The second is we build our own notion indirectly based upon what we have learned from the expert in the past. So we have a guidance, and at the same time, we have our own notions. And that is how we call it as something called experience. And the third is we do it by ourselves. Maybe sometimes after successful attempts or sometimes unsuccessful attempts. We call it as self-learning. So technically, when I have to categorize this, human learning can be done learning under an expert guidance. And the second is learning guided by knowledge gained from experts. And the third is learning by self. So it's very simple. Learning under expert guidance is exactly like a teacher teaching us. But let's be practical. For example, when I was a kid, I have learned ABCD just like that. ABCD, A to D, A to Z, there are 26 alphabets. And we were not taught A for apple, B for ball, nothing like that. But now the kids just look upon, and how many years did we learn? I had to learn for 1 year, because as per the academics, I have to learn from A to Z as a 3-year or a 4-year-old. I have to learn for 1 year. That is my curriculum, and that is how I get trained. That is how I learn. But we can't imagine, or to become an engineer, it has taken for us around 22 or at the most 22 years to become an engineer. But to become an expert, now the same thing, I can't wait for a machine to wait for 22 years to become an expert, right? So how do we go forward? The very simple thing is understand how does a human learn. So these are the 3 classifications, how a human learns. So Now comes to the introduction to a machine learning. Now, who learns in this case? We know they are machines, but we do not use the term called machines. We call it as agents. Now, agent is a program which will sense through its sensors and perceive the information and gives out the output in the form of actuators. So here we have one example, this robot, which you have already seen. She can sense it from her camera. Okay, that's her eyes. And next we have another kind of an example of an agent. It's a self-driven car. There is no driver in this case. The instructions are given by the GPS. Just the user has to sit in the car. He has to type out his destination. It's going to take. That's it. This is another kind of an agent. And this is the very common and very popularly known nowadays in India. That's your vacuum cleaner. It's a robo vacuum cleaner. Apart from sensing, it senses it. It has its own camera. That's how it senses it. And it gives out the output in the form of either a screen or a voice. That's basically a microphone stating that the task has been completed. These are called agents. So in the previous slides, which you have seen, the robot is basically an agent, an intelligent agent. Okay, now let's get started with what do you basically mean by machine learning. So machine learning is an application of an artificial intelligence which involves only algorithms and data, which will automatically analyze and helps to take a decision by itself without any human intervention. That is what we wanted. So we're trying to make a machine intelligent by implementing machine learning. So machine learning in simple words can be told as giving out of or sorting out of your algorithms and data, which can analyze. The machine can automatically analyze, and the output is going to be a decision making without any kind of a human intervention. And it describes how computer perform tasks on their previous experiences. This is how they become expert systems. So therefore, we can just summarize and tell you that in machine learning, artificial intelligence is generated based upon only one thing, that's called experience. And when I say experience, you need to have data sets in regards to this. Now, I'll just give you, a small differences between a normal computer versus a machine learning. The normal computer, you have a computer software, okay, which is programmed to do with certain kinds of codes. And machine learning is something where it instructs the system how to react to the situation. Instead, here we train it by a large number of data. It's something like, let's understand the human behavior again, because it's all about how do you basically go forward. Now, in a machine learning is basically you're training the machine, or you're allowing, or you're giving a chance to a machine to learn. Now you have understood how do basically humans understand a particular concept. If, for example, let me tell you, if I say if I say the alphabet A, what comes exactly into your brain? It's basically a red apple. But I did not say you the word called red apple. I've told you that A, then you automatically say that it's A for apple. And I did not specify the color of it, nothing. I did not tell you the shape and kind of stuff. But what we have read is A is for apple, and apple is always red in color. And how did we acquire this knowledge? It's because through our education, okay, we have been learning about all this, that A is always for apple. But apart from apple, A stands for many other things. A stands for aerospace, A stands for astronomy, A stands for aerobics. But what comes to our brain first? It is A for apple. Whatever be your age, we have been trained in such a fashion. That is A for apple. And this kind of a concept is basically induced in the form of machine learning to any kind of a machine. That's basically your machine learning concepts. And here we categorize machine learning under three various kinds of learning. We call it as supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and the third concept is reinforcement learning. We have another kind of a concept where we call it as semi-supervised learning. Okay, but majorly these are the three kinds of machine learnings which we basically work out. Okay, now let's go forward with what do you mean by supervised learning. Supervised machine learning is based on supervision. Supervision in the sense some kind of a guidelines are being given, so that it's basically we are working on agents. So agents have to be instructed in a way where it has to take a decision on its own, but a constant supervision is being done. Such kind of a machine learning is called a supervised machine learning, and where we train the machines using a labeled data set. When I say a data set, it's a huge amounts of data I'm talking about, and where the machine predicts the output. Now, in this kind of an example, I can tell you that these kinds of machine learning algorithms are specifically used for predictions. Predictions can be done exclusively. When I say the predictions, you can think about a field that's called your medical field, where you have lots of predictions being done. They can have, if suppose a machine has to, or if a human expert has to decide which kind of disease are you suffering from, then the best person would be a doctor, because doctor is a human expert who would be able to exactly identify which kind of disease are you suffering from based upon certain mathematical manipulations, which we can call it as a blood test. A very simple example, like suppose a person is suffering from fever. Okay. Now, if suppose it's a human expert, or if it's like a traditional kind of a model, how do you decide that are you suffering from fever? There could be certain kinds of symptoms, like your mother. Okay, she might identify you're inactive, you're not active during certain point of time. Then what she basically does is she's gonna check your temperature, and that she takes with the help of a tool that's called thermometer, and she observes your activity during a period of time, probably a day. Your intake is not good enough, your water, your level is, your temperature is increasing. Then we consult a doctor, and the doctor again goes forward with the same fashion, checking your head with a thermometer or whatsoever, and then he prescribes some kind of a method that's called a blood test. And when we go for a blood test, we get some kind of mathematical manipulations, and we have a range. So between that range, okay, when you present that kind of a report to an human expert called doctor, based upon your platelet count, he would be exactly deciding whether you're suffering from viral fever or dengue, or it's just a normal fever. Right, guys? This is called manipulation of data, but it's just a mathematics, please understand. Now, this kind of a mathematics is basically done in machine learning, but you have a continuous supervision. That's kind of a supervision is basically called supervised machine learning. And that kind of a data is called a labeled data, where we train the machine with some certain kind of inputs, and we get a corresponding outputs. And then we train the machine. We ask the machine to predict the output using the test data set. Example, okay, we have an input data sets of cats and dogs images. So first we provide a training to the machine to understand the images such as shape and size and of the tail of a cat and the dog, shape of its eyes, color. Or else, in short, if I train that any animal with 4 legs is a dog, it is not, it is not viable to say that every animal could be a cat or a dog, right? So there's a lot of difference when we are actually training. We give out certain shapes, we give out certain sizes. This is how we actually train them. This is called supervised machine learning. And once you complete the training, we input some kind of a picture of any cat, and the machine would be able to identify the object and predict the output. This kind of a supervision, or this kind of a machine learning, is basically called supervised learning. And this is how machines identify the objects in supervised learning. Unsupervised learning, as the term says, unsupervised, there is no particular there is no data set kind of a stuff. But here, how do machines identify? They identify from a hidden patterns. For example, let's go forward, because we have to compare every time with a human being. Let's compare with a girl who's hardly around 3 years old. She had a puppy in her house. So how does she identify another animal with the kind of an animal? She has some kind of patterns probably. A dog might have 2 ears, 4 legs, and a tail, and its skin could be softy. So this is how she categorizes as a dog. And the next time, after certain years, when she sees a dog, she can identify that this is a dog, because she has found out some kind of similarities in the creatures. This kind of a learning can be told as an unsupervised learning, where you do not specifically have a data set which is neither classified nor labeled. This acts completely without any supervision. But here, how does the machine train? It is basically from its patterns, the similarities and the differences. So let's try to understand with an example like there's a basket of fruit images and we input this into a machine learning model and the total images are, unknown to the model. So now the machine tries to discover its patterns and its differences and tries to check out in case if it has worked out this kind of a pattern somewhere in its previous kinds of, probably in its database. Is it some kind of a thing? This is how unsupervised learning works on. But the last one, that's called reinforcement learning, is a very, very important technique for people who are working with artificial intelligent agents. Because this works on something called feedback process or feedback based process in which the agent, that's a software component. When we say as an agent, agent is a software program which basically perceives the environment through sensors. That is, when I say sensors, it's basically a camera and a microphone. And apart from that, how does it give out the output? It also gives out in the form of either a voice or it's presented on a screen. Now, this reinforcement learning works on a feedback-based process wherein an agent automatically explores its surrounding by hitting and trail. That is a successful attempt or an unsuccessful attempt. It's something more or less like a self-learning. And this is being recorded. And here, agents get rewarded for each good action and get punished for each bad action. So here the goal of the reinforcement learning agent is to maximize the rewards. And in reinforcement learning, there is no labeled data like supervised learning. And here exclusively agents learn from their experiences alone. Okay, let me put it down in a simpler form. Like an example, a child learns various things by experiences in his day-to-day life. So an example of reinforcement learning is to play a game. Now the game is the environment and the moves of an agent at each step defines the states. And goal of the agent is to get a high score. So an agent, now this takes time. Please understand, when we are working on this, this is going to take time. That means because machines cannot be trained, machines cannot learn everything in a day. They have to be trained on various kinds of data, and that's how they can predict perfectly. Because they go forward with something called reinforcement learning, where they will be checking back in case if we have this kind of data sometime back, did we process this kind of data? Thereby, it becomes efficient. And basically, reinforcement learning is employed in various fields like game theory, operational research, and information retrieval as well. So I can just give you out a small difference between, on an image between machine learning and artificial intelligence. And let me tell you, machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence. Okay. AI is a concept of creating intelligent machines which stimulates human behaviors, whereas machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence which allows the machine to learn from the data without being programmed. In short, there is no concept of coding over here. It's just trying to understand how does a human being basically work out. So basically, when we work out, we are rational beings. Apart from that, we also have emotions. Now, we are trying to make the machine exactly work like a human being. So apart from that, we also need to understand how does a human brain basically work out. Does it work on exclusively logic? No. We have a concept of ethics. Can you define ethics to a machine? That is a very big question now. That's the reason why emotions are being brought down to a machine. So in short, if I have to show it out, I can tell you that artificial intelligence is like a program which can sense, reason, act, and adapt. Machine learning, they are algorithms whose performance will improve as they're exposed to more data over a period of time. Now, deep learning would be another subset of machine learning where you have multi-layered neural networks working for vast amounts of data. But we are exclusively concerned with artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now, if I have to go forward with applications of machine learning, it is you have automatically all these applications we have worked on, all these. But we have really not checked out what is the technology behind it. It is basically machine learning. For example, your weather prediction as well can come down. Even your image recognition or your speech recognition. Alexa could be the best example which I can give it to you. Alexa and Siri. because they have been trained. How do they identify if the voice is being given by a human being or an animal? So it has a perfect definition, and it is clearly identifying whether it is a female or a male or a baby or an adult. How is it being actually recognizing the voice? Speech recognitions. And when I start dictating now, because nowadays we are actually working on what do you call, on a very high end technology, we don't even need to type out, we just need to dictate, and automatically the speech recognition systems are actually translating my code of language. That's basically, the medium is English, and it's actually writing it down. How is it recognizing? All this is because your machines have been trained over a period of time. And let me tell you, this is not rocket science. These have taken time. And these are the application areas where, for example, your medical diagnosis, because this is the very thing which is booming always, predictions are perfectly done, not by a human expert, it is being done by a machine. Stock market trading, whether it is a bull market or a bear market, online fraud detection, this is one of the biggest things which we are actually learning. Chatbots, that's the best example which I can give you. Anytime, for example, if I'm trying to go forward, taking an admission into some kind of a university, normal processes are probably I'll have to visit to the university, or there should be some person who can answer my queries. In the middle of the night, I can't expect a person from the university to answer my questions. So probably I can actually answer it through, or somebody can help me out like a chatbot, which can actually answer all my queries, but it is stipulated. It has a particular area. Whatever questions I pose should be related to only education or related to the university. This kind of a concept is basically an application of machine learning, as well as your self-driving cars. The best example, self-driving cars go forward with the concept, the input is basically just your destination and the best route. How do we navigate through the best route? Because all of us use GPS for even going to the nearest grocery store, or if we have gone to an unknown area, we generally use GPS, or to an unknown location, we go probably. And when, for example, because we are in Hyderabad, it's heavily raining. So it also shows me the shortest way to reach my destination, and at a safer pace. And suddenly, if the road is blocked, even then, it is immediately interacting and telling or showing it to me that we have to get diverted. But ultimately, I'll be able to reach my destination within the stipulated time. This kind of a concept, or this could be the practical applications of machine learning. Even your personalization, that is your product recommendations. All of you might have gone for your e-commerce sites where you have purchased a particular product, and again, when you come back, you have been personalized. I mean, based upon your previous history of your purchase, you would be recommended certain kinds of products. This is also a part of your machine learning. It's an application of your machine learning. So now the last one, that's introduction to Internet of Things. As the picture tells you, see, we are actually, it's all this kind of a symbol all of you might have seen in your GPS. That's basically your location. So just have a glimpse of this, how Internet of Things is done. Internet is basically used for communication, and it's over a network. Okay, Internet of People, I understand that people can be connected through internet. Okay, like your WhatsApp or any kind of an application, that's internet. But when I say Internet of Things, that means devices are actually connected through a network, that's called your internet. That could be the best example for your smartwatch or any others where you have devices being integrated with your personal things. So I can give you a proper definition of what do you mean by an IoT is. It's a system of devices connected to the internet with the ability to collect and exchange data from the users or environment with no human intervention. The device or the thing in IoT could be any device. And basically that would be having a sensor, like your smart refrigerator, your smart air conditioner, or lights in the household. Because now this is what is booming. Just with a click, just clap, your fans are on. Just clap, your lights are off. Because you have sensors. Now we call this as a smart home. Everything is under our control. Probably you are far away from your place, but even then you can control. Your CC cameras are under your control. Who is coming, who's going, where is it, everything, all your security systems. Okay, and the smartwatch, which everybody, probably majority of you might have put on your wrist to understand what's happening with your heart. This is also fine. This is basically Internet of Things. In short, I have given you. Because, and why do we need IoT? Because see, we already have lots of comfortabilities, but even then, why do we need IoTs? Practically speaking, we guys are lazy. Why? Because we want to automate everything. We want to control everything remotely. And we want to see data in real time. This is a fact. Why IoT is booming. Okay, just imagine your mom asking you or giving you instructions to go and get groceries from a nearby shop. You're seriously very lazy to go forward. Then what do? You go to Zepto or Blinkit or any kind of an app. You just click it. Within 10 minutes, everything is being delivered. And that is in sync with your smartphone. And next time, again, you get product recommendations also. Okay, so, and we are in the thing like we need to get control over everything. That's called basically your automation. Automation helps you to control everything remotely. And we would also like to see statistics. How is it actually working on? This is the essence of IoT booming in the market. And here, what is that helping out? There are the sensors which are fitted everywhere across every device, collecting real-time data. A very simple example, let me give you. Your smartwatch or your smartphone, okay, which is connected to your smartwatch, also gives you a sleeping time. Did you really sleep well? Because this is what I've observed in majority of the corporate people, IT sectors, where they're unable, they're lacking, insomnia cases are actually booming up. And they have installed their apps, apps which are in sync with their smartwatches, which shows their sleeping time. So on an average, a person has to sleep for 8 hours. It's a normal thing. But if you are lacking sleep over a period of time, it's going to predict something. It's going to predict and tell you that you have to sleep over for a certain period of time. You're lacking sleep. This is how this kind of analysis, basically your real-time data analysis. And here you have sensors which is helping you to track all this data. And every device has its unique ID, mostly the MAC ID, which makes the communication possible among them. Now, I'll just try to give the statistics. It's almost in 2008 because that's how I could find out. And now here, these things are not just your smartphones and tablets. There are many more devices, let me tell you. Smartwatches, the best example. Self-driving cars, where you can assign addresses. Now, the latest thing which I have seen in IoT is you have something called geofencing in automobiles. I have never seen. That means your car is parked. You have this MG car which is coming in the market, which says that internet inside. And even before you put in your lock, you switch on your car, your AC is on, everything is ready. The only thing is you just have to sit and drive. And you have a concept of geofencing, which is basically you're creating a virtual fencing around your car, probably around 3 to 4 kilometers. Even if somebody tries to steal your car, it's going to beep. It's going to give an alarm to the person where the device is actually, or the car has a unique ID. That ID is actually embedded with an app in a smartphone of the actual owner. So whoever is trying to take his car, he can actually, he can get an alarm that somebody is trying to steal. This kind of a concept was not there earlier. This can also be told as an example of Internet of Things. And yes, is it possible to assign all the addresses to all the devices in the world? Yes. IPv6 has a huge address space. And tons of data are collected from devices all over the world. But where do we basically store this? The answer is cloud. Now, that's a very big topic. But the next part, what we are concerned is with the analytics. So the device or the data which is collected from these devices is quite large because it's collected. And just imagine about your Google accounts. For example, everybody of us have minimum 1 or 2 Google accounts. And the photographs which we actually take, personal things, or your personal camera and all that in your smartphone, that is automatically backed up with your Google Drive. And after a point of time, this becomes huge, really huge. This kind of a concept is basically called big data. And analytics deals with some kind of extraction of meaningful information from a big data. But whatever I'm talking is about a personal data. But the data which I'm talking, the huge data which I'm talked about, it's exclusively in terms of your industries. Okay, let's analyze some kind of let's analyze an organizational growth. Okay, then we can probably go for the head count, or we can also check out for their how is that they're growing over a period of time. When we analyze this, okay, it can't be done in a small or not keeping one or two factors as analytics. We have to draw lots of what do you call data to understand that the organization is in a benefit zone. So this is what I'm trying to talk about: big data and analytics. And organizations applies these analytics to business data to describe, to predict and improve business performance. It is basically doing a SWOT analysis, identifying their strengths, what are their weaknesses, what are their opportunities, and what is the threat for them in the market. And an application of IoT can be, apart from what I've told you, you have your building and home automation system, environment, environment monitoring, medical and healthcare systems, smart transportation, smart manufacturing, energy resource management. And as an example, imagine a smart traffic camera. It's basically monitoring the road for congestion or accident and weather conditions. So this kind of data which is being created from other cameras basically give you an intelligent city-wide traffic systems, which is actually already implemented in India, where you basically understand that how is that people are moving on. How is that? How do we identify people not putting on their helmets? This kind of a concept. And we also understand how the traffic is going on, because we can't expect everywhere a traffic constable to monitor how is the traffic going on. You need a camera, okay, a camera being installed at particular areas where they can monitor how is the traffic actually going forward. Okay, and suppose say the traffic system detects some kind of massive congestion due to an accident, it can help you to actually avoid such kind of a transport. Rather than going forward in this kind of a road, you can go forward instructing to some other kind of a road to guide the drivers around, because this is being already captured in your cameras. And this is an example, a small kind of a typical kind of an example. So guys, I am done. So any questions, please?
Participant, any questions, you can put it in the chat box. Yes.
Yes, sir.
I think it's a wonderful experience about what exactly the artificial intelligence, how it mimics the human brain, the introduction of it, at the same time the how humans can learn and machines can learn, and again what the use of this again for the IoT domain, the applications for the IoTs and all. I think this is a very much good and beautiful capsule you have presented for us. On behalf of IET Pune chapter, CIBIC and Birds Academy, we are very much thankful to you, ma'am. Over to Sai. Miss Sai. Yeah.
Thank you. I also thanks sir for Arjun sir for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much, sir. Any questions? Any queries? Please do ask me, sir. No problem.
Yeah, participants can write the queries in chat box. Still, if any queries, we can forward to ma'am. Ma'am has found her time and shared with us. I think it's very much a big last class. Actually, Kranti sir briefed about some generalized issues, and today you have introduced this all these three, what the IML and IoT. We are very much thankful to you, ma'am.
Sure, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, the participants are saying it's very good. They understood they are saying.
Sorry, guys, if I bored you a lot.
Yeah, Sonal, thank you so much on behalf of ma'am also.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Then Sahi will hand over to the next guest. He is waiting in the lobby. Yes. Sir is there, huh? Krishna sir? 1 minute, huh? Yeah, he is there. 1 minute, huh? Yeah, sir, can you hear me? Uh, 1 minute, huh? See, 1 minute, huh? Just I have made it, and host is there. Yeah, settings, you check it, your settings. I think, yeah, sir is, yeah, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah, go ahead now. Yeah, say go ahead, he is there. Sir, will you be able to share your screen also, no?
yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah, sir is able to speak. Yeah, go ahead, say. Yeah, go ahead, say. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, ma'am. Thank you. Good evening, all. Today we discussing what kind of the applications are play a major role of the emerging technology, especially AI, ML, and IoT. So these technologies are nowadays are mingled with our families because lot of the healthcare and the technology aspect also performance. These all the things this emerging technology support to the improve the better performance monitoring and the other thing the optimization of the resource for the example of the manufacturing industries. These all the areas are the emerging technology helpful to support the utilizations, optimization technique, production increasing, very less time, better performance, provide the qualities, these and other static data sets. These all the things are clearly, accurately monitoring and noted through these emerging technologies. So the outline of the session is the AI, ML, and IoT. So the previous speaker already covered these things and AL, ML for IoT, why and how this technology interacted with the IoT platforms, how coordinates with the particular applications, and then move on to the real world applications. Okay, the artificial intelligence is the combinations of the machine learning techniques and deep learnings. Whatever we train the model to solve the basic problem like the human behavior or excellent thinking to solve the particular problem by the using of the artificial intelligence. As per the market survey data, the industry, software industries.
Sir, can you make it PPT mode, the presentation mode? Just one button that. Yeah.
Now is it okay, sir?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead now. Yeah, go ahead.
So, as per the market surveys, this emerging technology depends for the software industries. So, year by year, so the market value is increasing the this kind of emerging technologies, especially in artificial intelligence. So by the 2025, so 95% of customers using the AI because everyone using the smartphones. The smartphones and other app related devices or healthcare app or monitoring app. So interacted with humans and the mobile applications through the notifications. So in this way, the customer users will day by day increasing and usage will increasing. So market share value is also increasing. This kind of the companies have a huge scope for the futures. And then as per the Gartner, the 77% of the organizations so we expect to implement the AI based and then Statistica So software industry full depends on artificial intelligence. So we expect to reach the $126 billion in the year of 2025. And then final report of the Statistica, so expect to increase the values is the USD dollar 22.6 billion. So approximately year on the year increasing 54% across the consideration of the global software related to the AI. So why we are the choosing this kind of the technologies? So this kind of technology help to predict the data and get the data, and then it's like IoT is kind of sensors is using. So the kind of sensor, even our health conditions also easily monitoring. So from the sensors we get the data, and then give some write the some algorithm. So this value we reduce this value, it's normal or danger or below low. These are all the things we are done in through the algorithm. And then if any related with the automated with the IoT devices, and then you get the data from through the algorithm, interact through the notification to the particular usage. So algorithms and IoT data are interlinked to solve a particular problem. And then agriculture. So in early days, we follow the conventional farming. In the conventional farming, it's difficult to identify the soil temperatures and then humidity, uh, crop yielding predictions. These all the things are very highly difficult due to the air pollutions and the deforestations and other things happen. So these all the things are affected the agriculture crop yielding. So nowadays we know about the earlier this kind of the parameters that help to increase the cultivations and also reduce the crop wastages. In early days, not predicting this content of water quality or water content is enough for the particular tree plants or crops is sufficient or not. Sometimes excess water also uh, feed into the crops. It's a wastage of water and it's affect the crop yielding. Nowadays, we this all the things are monitored through the app. That sensors, the particular sensor installed in the soil, that sensor gives the as of now temperatures and the humidity conditions, uh, and this the growing level. You develop the some codings for the this kind of the level crops is sufficient, medium, normal, or abnormal. So these are the parameters also considered for the cultivations. So that will help to the improve the cultivation, and then farmers will happy to productions for the particular seasonal crops, and then transport to the supply chain management. That chain management also distribute to the users. It's recently is the tomato. So in India, one farmer is cultivated, but floods are overflowing. At that time, the total cultivations are affected. So at that time, we included this kind of the technology, maybe give the chance to how to protect this kind of the floods or over rainy at the time does not affect the plant. How to think the particular crop production, other parameters affected. These all the things are we consider through the technology. We save the certain parameters and then improve the productivity. And then industry. So in industry, we follow their own strategy is the resource optimization technique. So the especially in the maintenance part. So the maintenance part would help the optimize what are the ways we are optimize the for make the one particular products in the manufacturing industry, because manufacturing industries mainly depend upon the raw materials and other resources. So we include the nowadays the industries are automated, so the sensor data and then historical data. To implement this kind of the technology, we detect the any kind of the failures in the particular locations is all to interface with the SCADA. We also pointed out and rectified without affecting the productions. And then previous year data, production data compared with the current production data. So what are the way we improve? These are all the things, how to optimize the resource for the effective resource management as well as the maintenance aspects. Yes. And then medical field. So here is the artificial intelligence and the ML algorithms. In earlier days, we go and scan. If suppose I beat the on accident, suddenly my brain is affected or collapsed, means they go to the hospital, emergency hospital. At the time, scanning is high difficult. What the part is affected. So the image qualities, these all the things are a very difficult one. But nowadays, the artificial technologies and ML algorithms are using what area we affected. So labeling. So ma'am, previous session, I'm also showing the labeling part. So this kind of technology support the labeling the particular areas. So what areas affect in the brains? So easily pointed out. And then if suppose affected in the kidney means, so what area, what problems, these all the things are easily diagnostic and image format produce the emerging technology. So doctor we easily identify, give the respective treatment for normal positions for the particular health conditions. And then autonomous vehicle. So nowadays is the many companies focus on the autonomous vehicle. In future, maybe it's one of the robot, like it's one of the robot. So mobile maybe interfaced with mobile. You operate through the mobile, the left and right. It's like in its stage we are played in the video games or video games. In future, maybe in mobile app like a joystick and you left and turn is the one camera is the fixing. So in monitoring the is all the things. Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Actually, I'm in a college, sir. A heavy wind flow, so calendar is disturbing. Okay, and then so it's like a joystick. We use mobile app to drive the vehicle. Nowadays, where we are tracking, so GPS is fixed. The vehicle is where is going or coming, and then where to reach. If I am in Europe, now I reach to Pune means I using the map how to go in the which way is the shortest to route to reach the Pune, and then it's the cabin conditions. Cabin conditions is the temperatures levels, and then humidities. These all the things are considered at the time. Uh, so display is there. If you using the continuous AC means it may affect the breathing problem. So at the time the level will be indicating. So predict. So situation is critical. At the time take the corrective actions. And then automatic entertainments. So here entertainments means the hearing the songs. Now is the wireless device also enabled. So Bluetooth wireless device, and then uh, so speaker is the advanced versions are using. It's enabled to the mobile, and then a number of mobile is the connected, and then move on to the modes. So normally the flight follow the after the takeoff certain times mode is the pilot mode. So here also is the pilot mode or normal mode we also fixing, and then parking assistance. So if I enter into the supermarket at the time a number of cars is there. So my head is just rotating in 180-degree only, but I covered 180-degree, but no cap to park my car. So at the time the device is indicated, the particular area is vacant, and then you want to park the particular area. And then mobile app. You interface with app means the fuel consumptions, and then your speeds, left and right. These all the things are you are interfacing, and then driver behavior monitoring. So this one is the beautiful trick, especially in the night traveling. Uh, Normally 3 to early morning 3 to 4 means who experienced person also lightly blink go to the sleep modes. At the time we sleep, so it may lead to accidents. So at that time your sleep modes indicate the you are in sleep mode. Be open your eyes, concentrate on driving. So this kind of the behaviors also. And then here one point is a stress here. Cool flight accidents. Normally the flight landing, actually the critical to landing during the rainy seasons, but 1 or 2 times you 360-degree rotating and then move on to means inbuiltly uncontrollably create one stress. Now we tried. So that is the problem. So this kind of the behavior also clearly indicated in the vehicles. And then assessment of the road conditions. If means ups and downs, the speed breakers, the pedestrian crossing is there. These all the things are indicated earlier. Uh, and then wearable device, one of the emerging technologies nowadays. In early days, we fix the sensors also on equipments or soils or on pots, all that there. Nowadays, our clock also fixing the sensor in the particular pot. We tracking the health conditions or other critical parameter also from the wearable devices, especially in the wearable sensors. Take the data from the health conditions and transfer to the mobile app or care trackers or caregivers. send the data to storing. So here the example focus on the you have the how many the facts is there. So nowadays is a process is developed compared to the conventional days. So the process could it's lead to the become a belly. So day by day the process would consume is increasing, fatty persons also increasing. Nowadays one of the stress is they're reducing the fat. So at the time up down with the one sensor, so how much fat is there also tracked from the abdomen and they indicated in the digital values. And then wearable device one is the Apple's and other companies also introduced wearable watch. So that watch also measuring the your body temperatures and pulse rate and then oxygen levels. These are the things are indicated from your wrist only. You wear wrist, you monitor these are kind of the parameters, and then um, your blood pressures, how much your blood pressure is there, and then in shoe, fixing some sensor, how much speed is you go, how much speed you run currently. These all the things are measured in from the shoe, and then sports. So sports also is related to the wearable sensors. So it's the IOT and then ML is the play a major role. So here also in sports person, previous one considered a normal man. This application is for the specifically for the sports person. So suppose running means heart rate, how much heart rates he measures at the time running, temperature how much, and then pressure. The running means heart pumping is higher. So at the time blood pressure how much. That data's interfaced with the clouds that store the data. It's a normal running or not, and then how much value predicting. Nowadays the sports is some injection is putting. So that's kind of the activities also detect through the sensors and other things. And then if running means may occur the sweatings. Some people is a biologically running means or normally sitting means more sweatings generated. So how much generated is affect the runnings, it's make a comfort or not. These all the things are measured for the sports person. Because the sports person feel comfort only to achieve the particular goals, especially in the global level competition, Olympic and other things. And then come to the educations. So conventional education is the taking the attendance in the manually. Nowadays we follow the biometrics and then online attendance marking. And then if suppose absent means message sent to the particular students, and then focus it on SMS alerts to the parent. This register number, this name, person is not attend the class today, and then half-yearly or quarterly or annually, calculated the or cumulative take the attendance percentage. We wrote the algorithm for the 65 to 75 that belongs to the foundations, or above 75 is eligible to appear the examinations, or 85 above. These all the things are automatically through the send. And then ID card also, barcode ID card or RFID ID card used easily, can easily the persons is their presence. So in our library normally using the ID card in the barcode reader, so that the time the scan at the time entered, and half an hour or 1 hour allowing how many minutes utilized in the library are there. So this can also how many days particular students come to the schools or college, or everything is are monitored. These all things are the digital records, because some of the students, especially in the college students, are come to clearly indicate to the parents are go to the college, but some friends are join a team to go to the cinema theaters. So this kind of things are avoided through this kind of the technology, and then easily generate the reports, monthly reports, how many days monthly present and absence. So easily find out and intimate to the particular students. Next month, the student be aware to present, and then improve the percentage. And then health. So wearable device is the one part of the healthcare, and another one is the e-health. Suppose this can focus on the doctors, physician, and other also monitoring for the particular patients or particular persons. Each and every moment monitoring, and if suppose I am affected in the diabetics means the time, what are the parameters, levels, blood pressure level, these all the things are considered, and interface through the sensors or wearable sensors using the IoT, tie with the physician and the doctors, other things. They periodically they view the my health condition remotely. If any danger or any abnormal conditions identified, they will intimate me. You are in now abnormal position. So come to hospitals or given tablets and medicine you take regularly, or avoided the medicines. These all the things are easily find out. So normally nowadays the stress is more. So some persons maybe forget to get the medicines or the particular tablets means. So at the time these all the things are initially short outs. In conventional means it's a highly difficult one. In the IoT monitoring enabled device means the doctor can the particular patient how much are critical health conditions easily monitoring. If reach the abnormal positions, initially find out and short out the easily, especially is in the heart rates, and then to measures the blood pressures. So the blood pressure is the low pressure and high pressure. So at the time systole diastoles also how much values are as now. In n number of times systole and diastoles, which one is normal or which one is higher. These all the values are detect and stores in the servers and then monitoring the health conditions. And then one of the another healthcare part is the telemedicines. If I'm in a rural position, I take the treatment in Apollo. Uh, it's highly difficult. Near to 1,000 kilometers, travel is highly difficult. And so now I'm young, it's an easy one. But my age is 60, 65, means it's a highly difficult. So at that time, so telemedicines, the doctor will interact online, review the health reports, and based on the previous data, uh, review and we suggest the medicines, get the maybe the franchise pharmacies and other things. If else means you check if suppose interface with the wearable device in the wrist, check the heartbeat rates and other things. Rate pressure is normal or not. Uh, pulse rate is normal or normal. These all the things are measured in the telemedicine way, and then give the suggestions to optimize a particular problem or solve the particular problem to recover. Give the solution to the with the help of the internet of, and then is the digital technology. This digital technology means operating especially on the fitness. So nowadays everyone conscious about the fitness. Workout in the gym, how much calorie is burned. So the normally required calorie is 2,200 means how we measure the particular calorie. It's highly difficult one. So at the time developing the app, in number of steps you walk, this kind of calories are reduced. Um, these kind of the things are monitored through the app. This is especially for the gym fitness worker. So the AL/ML is play a major role for the wearable device, particularly helpful in the sports persons and then entertainment also. So video capturing and then subtitles generated is other is the artificial intelligence technology supported. So easily everyone understanding. And then IoT help to the monitoring remotely or process improving or manufacturing improving, crop yield, health conditions, different kind of parameters are sensed from these sensors. Different sensors is there and get the data and due to the using the algorithm make the perfect solution. In crop we mean increase the productions. In manufacturing means increase the production, reduce the time better, uh, cost effective, and then health condition monitoring. What are the parameters measured in the self and also doctors and the other caregivers also monitoring. If suppose any difficult means is easily identified. In early days, CT scan, MRI scan is also using. If artificial intelligence technology using means the particular part, the labeling, which part, which one is affected, labeling is easy one. So in this way, the technologies are help to the real-time applications. In future, this all the things, wearable devices connected to the every family members. Okay. If any doubt, ask me.
Yeah, till now, participants, if any queries are there, you can put it in the chat box. Okay. Uh, yeah. Uh, so I think, yes, sir. I think you are here end with your presentation. Am I right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we are very much thankful for you for your informative session for our students to introduce the basic fundamental concepts. You have taken your time and you have been presented with us. So on behalf of IETE Pune chapter, Birds Engineering Academy, and Civic Incubator Center, we all together, we are very much thankful for you, sir. Okay, sir. So you give me some time, as little time is there, so just I will interact little with the participants. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I find some queries like generally the any workshop. So the presentations and hands-on. Some people are looking for some hands-on sessions also. So of course we have to go for that. So which kind of softwares are required? What exactly the artificial intelligence? What exactly the machine learning? What exactly the IoT? So a little bit the introductory kind of sections covered by Kranti sir in the last session and followed by Suti ma'am beautifully presented the connectivity between the artificial intelligence, machine learning, and IoT, and the further addition on that the Pachum sir has underlined. So with this background, just we'll proceed a little bit what exactly we are going to learn in this workshop and how we are going to learn as a little time is there. So we'll proceed for that. So just I will present my screen right now. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Yeah, I hope participants, my screen might be visible to you. So how we have to learn and how we have to proceed for this. First of all, I welcome all of you once again. You see, I think as of now, we are fully aware of what artificial intelligence is and what the machine learning and what the IoT is. But let me concise some little definition of again these three. So in simple language, we may think that the way human thinks, the way human thinks and act, the way human thinks and act, in the same way machines will mimic. In the same way machines will mimic. That's what in simple we may understand what the AI is. And further, if you go for the machine learning, then in the machine learning, I will put it in simple way. The machine learning, just like in English language, we learn basic text, the letters, and then we learn the some few sentences. Then we learn the paragraphs, and then we learn the entire some easy writing or book writing or reading. In the LKG, UKG onwards up to your fluency in English. In the same way, machine can learn, or machine can learn the learning behavior of the human. That's what machine learning is. That's what the machine learning is. Now moving to the IoT. Now you might be aware of that everything is in the I think internet is there, the cloud computing is there, the cloud computing is there. But suppose there will be some industry somewhere. For example, there is one example. The one is a sugar factory located in Brazil, and the entire most of the sugar factory operations are being controlled remotely from one of the location which is in Pune. So through that location, that the entire factory, most of the factory operations are getting controlled. Means basically the machines to machine communication. So naturally, the machine you can consider as a robot. Suppose one hand at the robot and other hand is also a robot. Robot means I think just like humans, we got different sensors. Similarly, the robots got also some sensing systems. Different sensors are there for the robots. So one robot at one part of the world can communicate to the another part of the another robot which is located in the another part of the world. So that's what happening through the internet. As Shruti ma'am is already she has already briefed some smart cities kind of some data. So huge data is being generated, and the data is being stored on the cloud, and that data is being aggregated, and then that data is processed and the commands are issued and so on. So that's what the little background, what AI, ML, and I hope you understand with that. So if you want to learn, if you see my screen over here, I think you might be aware some different programming languages. But here you can see the if you want to learn the artificial intelligence, the machine learning and the IoT, you will need to be familiar with combination of programming languages and techniques. So it's a combination of programming languages and techniques. That's what is required. We can't say it's only the C language I can learn and I can go for the artificial intelligence and the machine learning. I can say that with the Java, the Python, and so many other languages are there. But as of now, you can see it here. If you want to go for some the projects, some of the participants are looking for some other hands-on the projects. Of course, there is no end for the hands-on here. There is no end. But the point here is the combination of programming languages and technologies. So technologies, as Shruti ma'am and Pashim sir has covered well the technologies, and at the same time the languages. I think most of the students are from the participants are from electronics backgrounds, or some computer backgrounds, and some are from mechanical backgrounds. But generally, you might be aware of that. If you consider the robot, we can't segregate in some electrical field or some mechanical field or the computer field and so on. So similarly, here the machines it's a combination of different technologies. It might be the electrical, the mechanical, the chemical, and so on. What the technologies exist as of now today. So all the technologies put together, we should have some basic background of all these technologies. At the same time, the language. I think the language you can understand. For example, if I spell language about, suppose, for example, the basic programming language for our the microprocessor, that's what it is, assembly level language programming, where we can do some fundamental addition. I think most of the engineering field today, the microprocessor is the bone or the part. And in the microprocessor, there will be again, there is a one microcontroller and the microprocessor. Now, generally, for the developmental purpose, the microprocessor, it's the background, but for tiny systems for development, we can go for the microcontrollers. Now, basically, the difference in microprocessor and microcontroller is nothing but the peripheral devices. We can spell in one sentence. These peripheral devices, which is inbuilt. So we can call it as a inbuilt as peripheral devices. That's what it is called as a microcontroller. Now, inbuilt as peripheral devices means, as you know, the word is an analog word, and the processing data is in the digital world. So different sensors which will collect the data. So input energy, it might be the sound. Suppose it is a microphone, the input energy is a sound energy. That sound energy is to be converted into electrical energy, and that energy is to be processed in our computers are the microcontrollers, which we are. But the language for computers or microcontrollers, that's what it is, a binary language. It might be in terms of ones and zeros, the binary language. We can call as a hex language. So that analog, the signal which is created by the sensor, that analog data that can be converted into again a digital. So for that purpose, we need a analog to digital converter. So that's called as a ADC. Then the data is being processed with the controller. And after processing again the data, we have to use in the real environment, or we have to use in the real world, the data is to be used. So again, that the data which is processed with the system, that is a analog data, digital data, that is again to be converted into analog data. And for example, speaker. So that analog data we have to split to the speaker, and speaker, again the data will be in the sound energy. Means the input is a sound energy, which is we can call it as a mechanical energy kind of thing. And again, the sensor output will generate the electrical energy, and that electrical energy is converted into the digitized one. So bottom line over here is we need to understand the controller and the process the data. We have a different languages. So one is the assembly level language. Those who are electronics background, people might be aware what the assembly level language programming. Again, we may call it as a high level language programming, or we may call it as a low level language programming. But the generalized one is basically the C language. So we have to proceed some project presentations, and also it is required everyone to learn the basic C language first. And then we have to understand what the difference between C and C++, the language. And then you may understand some little bit Java language, and you can go for the Python. So here you can see the programming languages and technologies. I think you can understand what the technologies exist, means what the different sensors are there, how data is being transmitted, how data is being processed in machine-to-machine communication environment. So here you can understand what the programming language and technology. But below are some of primary languages, technologies you should consider while learning. So one of the, as I told you, the language, that's Python, heavily used for the programming in in this particular environment. So you can see it's Python is the most widely used programming language in artificial intelligence, machine learning, because it is not like that we can't use another language, but it is as I underlined, it's heavily used or deeply used, we can call. So because of its simplicity, it's a very simple, it's a reliability, and it got extensive libraries. And I think in the libraries there might be some NumPy, Pandas, then Matplots. This kind of different libraries are there in the Python. It might be some SQL libraries, and some API connectivity is also required. I think you may not be aware as of now the API, what the application programming interface, how to access the data from the remotely through the website, how to upload the data. Generally for that, the programming language, or generally for the web, you may have some background of HTML language and all. But as of now, just for simplicity, the bottom line is one of the programming language heavily used is Python programming language. Now, I think you can understand what the data communication, we can use one of the language as a Python programming language. Similarly, as I underlined, in the world, in this environment, data is a money, and daily huge data is getting generated. For example, if you take an example of suppose our government server, and government wants to know the information about the rain, or whenever summer season the rain is not there, but suppose in rainy season, how much rain in which areas, how much quantity of the rain is, and that data government wants to know. So the government server will access the data. The different sensors are installed at the different locations of the country in geographical locations, and huge data is being generated. And the data, the trillions and trillions of bits of data. I think luckily we have one guest which is on day after tomorrow, the Friday. I think Harish, he's holding some position at the Data Corporation USA, United States. So he's handling that data. So the company name is Data Corp. So luckily we got his appointment, and he will be with us on day after tomorrow. So he may inform us. He will explain us about what the importance of the data. But point here is a huge of data is being generated. I think you might be aware of what the data is. But huge data. But the huge data means, for example, if you visit our college library, and if you ask our library person, suppose you need some Python programming book, and if you ask that particular book, and if you retrieve that data, or if you retrieve that bits, suppose that data is scattered over in the library. Now data is nothing but some books. For example, it's an analogy for understanding, and then books are scattered over in the entire library. And if you find some Python programming book, and if you say that no sir, actually I have to search the book, and day after tomorrow you can come, or you can visit after 2 or 3 days of library, and I will be able to give you the book, then you will get irritated that much retrieval time is not acceptable. You see, today retrieval time, the data retrieval time, it might be in 1 minute, 2 minutes. It's not like that. Suppose, for example, we don't have a patience in terms of as a human nature, but the retrieval time of data must be as small as possible. For example, driverless car is one of the example of IoT which we may learn shortly again. But for example, suppose driverless car, and suppose there is an obstacle, then suppose obstacle is there, and in that obstacle environment, if obstacle is there, so what has to be act? Then expert system which is installed with the driver, means the expert system, we can call it as a software agent over there. So it has to take the decision fast. So data must be retrieved as fast as possible. Otherwise, if the data is delayed by, suppose for example, 1 minute or 2 minutes, then car may make an accident. Then there is no use to develop this kind of car. That's what one of the thing for the importance of the data. So point here is the data aggregation. If you look for the smart cities and all, data aggregation means that data should be presented properly, because the data in terms of ones and zeros or some numbers, the facts, the figures, we may get confused. We will not understand what exactly the data is. But that data is with the help of some, for example, some simple, you can take Excel sheet, and if you present it some, for example, some bar chart, the graph, or the pie chart. In this way, if you present the data, if you present the data in terms of bar charts or graphs, then you can visualize the data properly, and you can understand what the data is. So in order to perform that operation, many languages are there which may fall under the topic of data science. But here you can see one of the important language we need to learn. That's what the R programming language. So here the R programming, you can see it. Generally, we can use this for the data visualization. One language among many other languages. That's what the R language. So in the R language, you can see another language frequently used in data analysis and statistical modeling. So whatever data, huge data is being generated by the different sensors, and the data is being uploaded on the clouds. Now I think you can understand what the cloud is. Now the cloud is the buildings of servers. I think you can understand your Gmail, for example, your the cloud, the pen drive, your drives, it might be about 20 GB and so on. So your backup drive data, I think you can come day to day across that. That's what the cloud. We may talk a little later about the cloud. But as now here you can see the statistical, the data analysis and statistical modeling. So data analysis and statistical modeling, particular academic and research setting. So if you have to understand some academic applications of AI/ML and IoT, then you can go for, that's what the R programming is one of the thing. And I think you can understand what the statistical modeling. Now, let me put it in simple way what the statistical modeling. In the statistical modeling, I think you can understand, suppose some hundreds of numbers are there, then you can find some mean value, the average value, the variance values. I think that's what the statistical data, generally the meteorological department, prediction of the rain or prediction of the temperature and so on. So that's what the statistical branch of mathematics which we learn with the statistics for that purpose. To present the data, to aggregate the data properly, we need to learn some R programming. Similarly, I think nowadays people are just making distance from laptops or PCs. Now people are more habited with the Android versions of smartphones and all. So for phone applications to develop the AI and ML applications, you can go for the Java. So you can see there is a Java which is essential for building Android applications which are commonly used in IoT devices and applications. So you have to understand some Java, because some of the participants before starting our program itself, they are asking so queries, sir, which kind of some primarily or prerequisite or for my program to understand. So you can understand some little bit Java. Of course, we'll try to see all these languages during our course of session. Of course, it's in order to cover most of the things, we have kept this session for around 1 month. So we'll try to cover this also. But one of the programming language, the Java, to develop some Android kind of applications for IoT environment, the AI environment, that also we need to understand. Similarly, I think you can understand what our mother tongue is there. Through the mother tongue, you can understand. Suppose if you want to speak something in English, and suppose mother tongue is Telugu or Tamil or some Marathi or some Hindi, then the people will be more interested to the speak or read or write the mother tongue like that. It's not directly, but we may call it an analogy. This kind of mother tongue. So we can say it's a C programming language. So in the C programming language is a basic for all programming languages. So it is expected to learn the C programming languages. Now in C programming language, then some of the libraries which may not support in the C. So some additional we can call as some libraries will call as a C++ libraries. Now, if you look for the C++ libraries, for example, here we may say that the print function, or we can call it as a scan, in order to send the data to the system or to access the data system, we may have two basic functions. One is a printf function and one is a scanf function. So these are the two important functions we need to understand for C, and that we'll try to see it here for the C also. And further, there is one of the language for our AI/ML. That's what is required to understand is a JavaScript or JS in the format we might be aware of the JavaScript. So JavaScript is crucial for web development and is often used in IoT applications for front end and back end development. I think you can understand what exactly the front end development and what exactly the back end development. So for that purpose, we can go for the JavaScript language. Now moving to you see all people may not be literate in terms of programming at all levels, no. So some are interested to write some codes in some the programming codes, and some are interested, for example, some want to use the benefits of the programming, but they don't want to write the code exactly, but they want to utilize those codes. No, for example, the some suppose from addition of two numbers and so on. Suppose we can have a data assignment of two data A and B, and then you can add two numbers that the code we can write. But some of the people may not be easy to write the codes, but they need to use that benefits in day-to-day life. That's what there is one of the library are huge available. That's what the SQL. SQL you can have essential for working with the databases which are commonly used to store and manage AI and IoT application. I think here it's the hybrid area where we are trying to understand that where we are trying to enter. There was again SQL database. I think the database, as I have given underlined one example, the database, for example, driverless car. So if any obstacle is there, then the driver has to react in fraction of second. Otherwise, you know what will happen. Otherwise, there is no use of data. So if you look for that also, the different data retrieval algorithms are there. And similarly here, to manage that software agents, as I underlined earlier, we need to understand the query language. For example, some table is there. For example, some cell table is there. Some form is there. Or some persons, the names are there, their age is there, or some table means different kinds of data will be there in the table. So out of that, huge columns and rows will be there in the data, for example, in the table. So that table you can have, suppose you need to shorten the table, or you need to make it small in simple language, make it small in table based on, suppose, the name of the person and the age of the person. Like that, we can see some examples in that also. But as of now, we can have an example. That's what the SQL language, or we can call it as a structured query language. For that purpose, SQL also we need to understand. And moving to the, especially for most of the students, participants, or faculties who are present here. So there is you might be aware, around 10 million people throughout the world. The researchers are involved in the MATLAB. I think MATLAB is one of the scientific the tool, or the research tool. The most of the students, are the researchers, are using in the industry. Of course, that is presented by the Matrix Laboratory. That's what the Matrix library is there. And you can understand some MATLAB also. So where also you can access the data, you can present the data, you can modify the data, you can visualize the data. And of course, in Python also some matplot, the function, the library, huge library, which is available with the Python. That's what it's called as a matplot in the Python. So it's kind of similar. Those who are aware of the Python, they can go for the some matplot. But of course, the most of the compilers are online compilers exist, but here it's a little huge. That's what the drawback. But the applications are used for AI/ML. The MATLAB is also used over there. And similarly, there will be some. This is again a new language, popularly gaining popularity in the AI and ML environment. That's what the Julia. This is due its focused performance, and it's very easy to use. That's what it is. But moving to, while not all these languages are required, having combination of them will give comprehensive skill for tackling various aspects of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and IoT development. And additionally, you should also familiarize yourself with AI, the ML, like the TensorFlow. So most of the compiler during our, it might be our beautiful journey to understand most of the compilers also. So we may share these compilers on the group time to time, so that you'll be ready with that. We'll be ready with that. Now there will be some the AI, the ML, and the IoT development. Additionally, you should be also, as I told you, the AI, the ML, the framework like TensorFlow, the Keras, PyTorch, Skilllearn, as well as IoT platform. That's what, like the Arduinos you have to use, some Raspberry Pis you have to use, and some nowadays some Amazon web server pages, the AWS you can call, and the IoT you can call. So this is not this is not the end, but this might be called as the beginning. So as of now, that's I want to introduce, for example, the most of the questions are what exactly the hands-on we are going to learn over here, and which kind of languages. So it might be very difficult for us to all learn languages, but here the point important as an learner for artificial intelligence, machine learning, we must understand that which kind of languages are required and which kind of technologies are involved. We can say that this is only one language is needed for my AI project design, or only one technology is used for AI project design. So here it may not be possible for us to cover all the technologies, because but we don't have any option, because we can't learn instead having we should have a learning background. So I think you might be aware, some as per the new education policies also earlier, you are diverted in some particular field only, particular areas only. Nowadays also some students are diverted in some CSE field, or some electrical field, or some mechanical field, and so on. But the applications in real time, the applications involved in IoT environment or AI environment, so as here they have underlined, the technologies and languages are required. So as time is closing for our the closing, but before closing, first of all, I will give just a half minute of time, so the participants can use the chat box, and they may put their queries about some hands-on, which kind of technology or which kind of language you are familiar, or which kind of language you are not familiar. So if you are familiar about some particular programming language, or if you are not familiar for some particular language, so suppose that language only will try to choose. Of course, the basics of all this the is required. We'll try to cover that all. But just I want to know the how many people are aware. It might be some basic level, the advanced level, the expert level of the available languages. Just put it in the chat box. So if you are aware of, suppose, Python, so you can say Python. If you are aware C, you can say C. Or if you are not aware of, suppose, R programming, then you can say R programming. If you are not aware about Java, then you can say Java. So that will get some your mood, because you are here with some expectation, because you might be aware what's happening. You have to learn something. So I think Python, the people might be here. Just put it the Python yes, no, means will understand Python, they will understand or not understand. So are the level also. Some other languages also you can. I think Nikita is talking about Python. I think Sai is talking about Python, the C++, the Java. The Sai is again talking about the Python. I think Kalpana is talking about the again Python. Yeah, anyone? As only the less time is there, just I have introduced which kind of languages for our project design are required. Now, which kind of new languages, which I have underlined here, you will be interested to learn. Participants, please put it here. Which kind of new languages for our program here you will be able to interested to learn more. Yes, you can put it here. Yeah, Sonal is talking about R. Yeah, Sai is talking about Julia. Very good. Sai is talking about SQL. Very good. Kalpana is talking about R. Very good. So we'll try to cover most of the concept. So today, before closing, as time is again running fast, but yeah, I think Nikita is talking about SQL. Very good. Very good. So here I will share you here one of the compiler, which is a basic compiler. So whenever you are trying to learn many programming languages, there is no start and there is no end. You have to start somewhere. So here there is one of the compiler. Here you can call as a C compiler. Here is a C compiler. And in C compiler, for example, as you are aware of that, here most of the people might be aware of. We may not be able to learn from the basics, but some prerequisites are required to learn what the C is. So here, if you look for the C, here you can see it here the hashtag include stdio.h. I think you might be aware of, suppose if you are trying to communicate with English, then you should have some English grammar in your mind. Suppose if in Telugu, suppose Telugu dictionaries should be in my mind. So like that, some preprocessor we can call it as. Suppose compiler, basically the compiler means what we are trying to write. Generally, we are aware of the English language generally. So we'll try to put it in English language. So whatever program we'll write, that we'll try to write in an English language. So in English language, suppose if I want to say and, add, then instead of talking about and, system won't understand what the and is, what the or is, and what your name is. System won't understand that. So system won't understand. So for that purpose, you have to give some codes for that. For example, 00 means and, 01 means NAND, 10 means suppose some XOR gate and so on. So that 00, that's again a binary language. That's what it's called as a preprocessor. We can call it as a preprocessor directives. So that hashtag. And here, just like a library is to be activated in your mind. So similarly here, the standard input output library, the stdio means standard input output library. Means suppose whatever language we are trying to do with the system, then some inputting of the data should be there and some output you can get. So for that purpose, so to insert the data in our memory or the system, generally we may call it as a inputting from the keyboard. And whatever we are getting on the display, that's what it is called as the outputting. So in order to the standard inputting and outputting purpose, the one of the library available here in C, that's what the stdio.h library. The compiler as well as, yeah, Sai is also talking about that. Yeah. So just I will put it here, compiler in the chat box. So you can, whenever you find the time, you can work with the compiler, but just I'm trying to give some the basic, because the C is we can call it as a mother of all languages and all. So the include the standard STD, the inputting the data, outputting the data, and the header. Similarly, if you want to perform some mathematical operation, then the math library, like that, the library. And then here you can see the main parenthesis, and the opening the curly brace and the closing the curly brace. And here really the function, the printf, the hello words. For example, if you want to get it the outputting something, then you can use the printf function. So if you run it here, then you can see it the hello world. So if you put it here, your any name, it might be the anything. So with the printf, you can just the outputting the data. So I think this might be, you might be able to understand what the hello word is as time is running. So before closing, just I will take one simple program, and then we'll try to close as the input. So I think I have already given the compiler. So in the compiler, just you might be aware, suppose you want to add, suppose two numbers if you want to add, then you can see the standard input output is there, and integer number 1 and number 2, which is defined as a integer. And in the next, you can see the line number 10 here. You can add these two numbers, number 1 and number 2. You can add it over there. So similarly, as I underlined, the basic two, one is inputting and one is outputting purpose. We have two functions required. One is a printf function and one is a scanf function. As our data, which we are trying to, that might be some decimal data, so we can write his as a %d. Here you can say d and d here, and number and number. So this is what the scan function is required, and the printf function is required. So in this way, and then what the result which we are going to print it here, the printing again, this is the addition of two number. That's what the basic the addition of two number programming which can understand in the C. So this I think I will put it in the chat box. So those who how many, yes, in the chat box I will put it this simple program over here because but as of now in the chat box for our the projects which we are going to undertake, some projects or some programming, so generally we are going to use some online compilers. So it will be better you should have, if you join with the laptops. So how many are not having a laptop? That just put it there so that we can have some Android applications also. Do you have a laptop? If you have a laptops, then you can say yes. If you don't have a laptop, then you can say no. Just a few persons, just I want to say. If you are having a laptop, you can say no, yes. If not having, you can say no. Laptop. Do you have a laptop? Yes, very good. I think people are having it. So we today just you can go for this one compiler and you can just refresh your operations. And I think time is closing. So with this today, once again, I appreciate those Shruti ma'am and Pachim sir, those who have taken effort and they find their time, valuable time for us to interact. And further a little bit, I have continued what exactly because the most of the participants, they are talking about the projects and the hands-on and so on. So what are the languages required, that also I have covered. And now with this, I will try to close this our session. Now hand over to Sai. Sai, go ahead. Sai is there? Yeah. Yes, Sai is there. I think might be some technical issue. But yeah, so you go ahead. Go ahead now. We have to close it. Yeah. Yeah. And still, if you have any queries during the session, you can put it your queries. If you then that the maximum your queries will try to cover because we have enough time. So if you bring out your queries as fast as possible, it will be easy for us to inculcate your queries in our learning. So with this today, we'll stop it here right now. So participants can leave right now.